The end of the athletic calendar year is approaching, but it's not over just yet. Welcome to Flames Central. Thanks so much for joining us this week. I'm Emily, and he's Matt.
Yeah, we have an exciting show for you. We'll introduce you to the new men's soccer coach here at Liberty. And we also have a lot of trophies and awards to hand out, including some for ourselves.
Of course. And I know I say this each and every year, but it's always true. We're going to need a bigger trophy case, especially if you're the men's and women's track and field program. They just swept the Conference USA team titles. In fact, the men's 97-point margin of victory over Kennesaw State was the largest in CUSA history. But, Matt, let's highlight the ladies first. Have you ever heard of Allie Zealand?
Yeah. I have. Yes, I have.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, she's pretty good. The All-American put on quite the show at this meet, too. Look at this come-from-behind victory in the 800 meters. She finished in 2 minutes and 5 seconds. What a kick. Oh, not to mention an hour before this race, she also took the title in the 1500 with a time of 4 minutes and 14 seconds. Allie is the first Lady Flame to sweep the 800 and 1500 at a conference meet since her mother did so back in 2002. Staying on the distance side, the women's 5K was also a nail-biter. Ava Gordon had an incredible finish, just barely crossing the line to take first place with a time of 16 minutes and 28 seconds flying, just 0.05 of a second faster than her competition. Patasha Bryant won the heptathlon, improving her own Liberty record from early April. And finally, Olivia Rivera Norman broke the Liberty freshman record in the 100 hurdles. On the men's side, the Flames won a total of 7 events. Taj Brown won the 110 hurdles and improved not only his Liberty freshman record, but set a new program record. Other CUSA champions on the men's side include Sean Aiken in the steeplechase, Christian Hicks in the discus, Michael Long in the 800, Ben Shughart in the javelin, and Jill Drago in the triple jump. Liberty completed a 1-2-3-4 decathlon sweep led by Gabriel Willis, who took the crown and scored a personal best, which of course makes sense that he was our guest this week on the Flames Central podcast, presented by Ortho Virginia, to discuss all the success.
How much are you paying attention to what everybody else is doing and where the team is and what's that like once you finish until we won the team championship?
Day 3, we were talking that morning at the hotel before going out, just to be faithful with your event that day. Don't have any doubts that God will be able to give you the strength to compete and to glorify Him with your effort. Don't hold anything back, but give it all to the Lord and really go out there and honor Him. That's kind of our team motto, is to honor Him. And I mean, the amount of times we saw athletes pull through and qualify into the finals on their third and final prelim throw, or step up and run all the way to the end and beat your opponent at the lean on the line, things like that. Our team was just, it seemed like the ball was rolling for us.
To hear more of our conversation with Gabe, check out the entire episode of this week's Flame Central podcast presented by Ortho Virginia. We talk all things Liberty Athletics and a few other random storylines to keep it interesting. Matt, Joe, and I drop a new episode each and every Monday. You can listen wherever you get your favorite podcast or watch it on the Liberty Flames YouTube channel.
Such a great conference meet for Liberty track and field. And one of the athletes that helped them bring home that title, that guy, Ben Shughart, a javelin thrower. He now moves on to next week's East Regionals with the hopes of advancing on to the national championships. But as you're about to see, all of this success he's experienced has been anything but a certainty.
My career hasn't exactly been the smoothest. The only time I consistently have pain is whenever I'm throwing.
Sometime in between regionals and nationals, his shoulder really started flaring up.
Felt a pop in my elbow.
We had no idea he had a torn labrum.
I'm out there trying to throw, and it's just like an unbearable amount of pain. Coming to Liberty, I came here with no intentions of continuing my track career. I was an okay athlete in high school, but certainly nothing spectacular. I was at a random hall event over on the hill, met a guy named Ethan Milan. So I was just talking to him, and he was on the team here, was really enjoying it. And I decided, why not give it a shot? Went in for a meeting with the throws coach at the time, and they gave me an opportunity to join the team. So once I was on the team, I actually broke my wrist about 2-3 weeks into being on the team. So that was Certainly a bit of a rough introduction. Recovered from that, continued for the rest of the year. There were roster cuts happening at the time, so I kind of had to prove myself, and I didn't perform great initially during that outdoor season, so I ended up getting cut, and rightfully so.
I think he responded really well and appropriately to being cut. I think it lit a fire under Ben to push even harder to be the best that he could be.
I would still go to the outdoor track and train whenever I could, just apart from the team. In trying to get back on the team, it's really just chasing a specific mark or something. For me, I believe I had thrown, it was around 50 meters whenever I was given an opportunity to come back on the roster. I think getting back on the team was definitely a relief, but there's also some pressure there because now you gotta prove that you belong there. You gotta earn the roster spot that you got back.
You know, I think he just wanted to keep his head down and get back to work, prove himself that he could be somebody that contributes for our team.
I made it about 2 years probably, till my junior year. I had thrown, I think, 69 meters at that point. I had won conference that year, did well enough at the regional meet to qualify for nationals. But then a few days before nationals, I was at the stadium tuning up for the meet. It'd be the biggest meet of my life at that point. So obviously very excited. And like I take a few throws and it's just like something in my shoulder isn't right.
Sometime in between regionals and nationals, his shoulder really started flaring up. We didn't realize it was really bad until we were at the national meet and we were practicing. And he's like, yeah, it's painful, coach.
I'm out there trying to throw and it's just like an unbearable amount of pain. Like I stopped practice and called it a day, and it's like, I got 2 days until the meet, we got to figure this out. Luckily, Barry, our athletic trainer, was able to get me through. I competed fine.
So we got home and had an MRI, and we figured out really quick, oh, he really has a pretty serious injury.
It was a posterior labrum tear. For a javelin thrower, about 6 months until you can even start to throw again. And then the return to throw process is another 3-month process, and then that already puts you 9 months out. And then you're just starting to throw a javelin again at that point.
But it was so quick to get to surgery and then start that rehab process. I don't think the injury really settled in for him until the fall or winter, when he realized, wow, this is gonna be a really long recovery process.
It was discouraging because I was coming off the biggest meet of my life. I was at the highest point of my career, but being cut, coming back, tearing my labrum, missing an entire season, God definitely was teaching me faithfulness in there. Coming off the shoulder injury, I was throwing really better than I ever had. My first meet back, I'm definitely excited. It's been, I don't remember the exact number, but 600 some days since I've actually competed.
I kept talking to our trainer, like, man, let's just get Ben to the meet.
I'm not one who usually gets nervous for meets, but going into that meet, I was definitely a little bit nervous. In that meet, I came out, my first throw, I think, was 70 meters. Second throw was 73. Starting to build, there's the school record, another PR. My third throw was 76, which at that point is a 7-meter PR for me. Breaks the school record by roughly 5 meters. Fourth throw, we're into finals now, another 76. My fifth throw was my best of the series. I threw 77.41 on that, which is my PR at the time that had me ranked #1 in the US, #1 in the NCAA. My sixth and final throw brought a little bit more energy into throw, got a little bit hyped up, made some technical errors, felt a pop in my elbow. The UCL, it's the ulnar collateral ligament. It's on the inside of the elbow. For a javelin thrower, that's usually pretty devastating. That's usually the end of the season. You're getting Tommy John surgery and coming back a year or two later. So we're just, at this point, trying to figure out where do we go from here. I think I might have dropped my arm a wee bit.
Obviously, I want to be collaborative in decision making, and obviously Ben's going to have a say, I'm going to have a say, the doctors and trainers are going to have a say, but ultimately we made the decision we're going to continue on.
The doctor told me I can't damage it any further. It's fully torn in 2 different spots. Worst case scenario, I get some arthritis in my elbow.
Biggest thing is just like, can you deal with the pain?
Our athletic trainers are truly fantastic. Within a week, they had me set up to be custom fitted for a carbon fiber hinged elbow brace.
He came out to practice wearing that, and it was incredibly encouraging. It was like, wow, the pain level is incredibly low. We kind of were like, okay, there's a light at the end of the tunnel here.
So I competed for the first time with the new brace, with the torn UCL, all of that. It was interesting. Going into the meet, the plan was hopefully hit one throw and call it a day. Eventually, I made it through all 6 throws with little to no pain on all of them.
Having thrown what he's thrown already, he could have that opportunity to continue to train, because if you look at his trajectory, it hasn't stopped.
Presently, I'm ranked 6th in the NCAA, but I'm ranked 5th in the United States as a whole. The idea of throwing post-collegiate it's definitely there. The Olympics are in 2028 in LA, so we'll see.
I remember when I first got in the job here and I had some of the guys over the house, some of the throwers, my wife's like, I like that Ben kid. He's just a good kid and he's got a good heart. He's been such a blessing to coach.
One of our teammates wrote a sticky note and stuck it on a Powerade bottle, called it a Powerade of encouragement, and gave it to each of us. And on mine, she wrote James 1:17. It says, every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or shadow due to change. The gift is from God. It's by his grace that I've been able to do what I've done. Coach Luke has developed me from a 51-meter thrower to a 77-meter thrower, and it's not by accident. I've got great teammates that are constantly encouraging, teammates that believe in me more than I've believed in myself at times. There's a lot of hard work in there, but ultimately, like I said, it's the grace of God. It's a gift from him.
Thanks to Scott Ferguson for producing that piece. It is incredible the amount of success that Ben is able to have. Like his elbow is barely there. Like he's just hanging on. That kind of injury, the success he's having still is unbelievable.
At this level,
Yeah.
you know, he's not only just throwing the javelin, he's really, really good at it. I mean, I get like a little ache and pain and I'm complaining
hear about
for weeks.
it for weeks.
No, but you know, God puts us through challenging times in our life, and I think that it just builds so much character, and you can see that it's done so in Ben.
Absolutely. Best of luck to him moving forward. Hope he makes it back to nationals. All right. We turn now to golf. The Liberty golf team in an NCAA regional for the 9th time in the past 10 seasons as they're playing out in Corvallis, Oregon. Let's start with an individual success. The Flames' Michael Luciano birdied 3 of his last 4 holes at the 3-day event to wrap up the top individual score at the regional. He's the first CUSA golfer to win an individual medal at a regional since 2013 and secures himself a spot at the NCAA championship. But would that be enough to get his team there as well? The top 5 teams move on, and Liberty came as close as you possibly could without making it. In fact, the Flames and San Diego had to go to a playoff to determine who would finish 5th. Unfortunately, Liberty comes up just short, and their team season comes to an end. As for Luciano, he now moves on to nationals, which are played at the end of the month.
Well, the postseason is officially here for Liberty baseball. More on that in just a moment. While the Flames are seeking their first ever Conference USA title, in the meantime, they're receiving some pretty high praise from the conference. Liberty shortstop Tanner Marsh was named the CUSA Player of the Year, the Defensive Player of the Year, and an all-conference first team member. The junior leads the Flames with a .341 batting average and 63 runs scored, and currently leads the conference in runs scored and hits. Defensively, the shortstop has a .969 fielding percentage and currently second in CUSA with 133 assists. Ben Blair was selected as the Conference USA Pitcher of the Year and all CUSA first team. You may remember Blair was named the preseason Pitcher of the Year, so clearly living up to those expectations. The junior posted a 6-5 record with a 3.87 ERA. In 14 starts, he has 102 strikeouts and just 12 walks. That strikeout to walk ratio is currently 5th in the nation. Blair is holding opponents to a .225 batting average. Nick Barone was also named to the All-CUSA first team. The senior is hitting .313 with a team-high 50 RBI and 10 home runs. In the conference, the outfielder sits 8th in RBIs, 3rd in triples, and 10th in stolen bases. Pitcher Bradley Zayak received All-CUSA second-team honors. The sophomore holds an 8-0 record with a 3.23 ERA. The righty currently leads the conference in wins and sits fifth in ERA. Relief pitcher Cooper Harrington also landed on the All-CUSA second team. The sophomore has recorded 11 saves and 22 appearances. The Flames closer is second in the conference and 8th in the country in saves. All of those honors lead the Flames to a 21-9 CUSA record, good for the number 2 spot in the standings. So what does that mean? Well, here's the full breakdown for the 2026 CUSA Baseball Championship. It starts with pool play. As you can see, Liberty is in Pool B and will play Sam Houston today and Louisiana Tech on Friday. The top team from each pool and wild card will advance to bracket play on Saturday.
Best of luck to Liberty Baseball in the conference tournament and hopefully beyond the conference tournament as well. Hey, Rhett McGibbon's here. You know what that means. Time for Warm, Hot, and Fuego. Top player moment from the past week in Liberty Athletics. And Rhett, with it being a kind of title season, championship season, a lot of great performances to choose from.
And it's hard to believe, too. WEF is winding down for the year. I don't know what season this would be if WEF.
Gosh,
if you're just, if you're watching, you're clicking, it's like season
do you count a different season from fall to spring? If
no,
so, it might be
just all one.
Okay, so like probably 12 seasons.
We're kind of like, television where you take that little winter break and then you're back.
Little tease, though. This is the last regular season of Warm, Hot, and Fuego. The next 2 weeks will be top male and female athletes of the year. So you have that to look forward to. But let's focus on the here and now, right? Be where your feet are.
Yeah, you're right. Like you mentioned, title season's kind of upon us. And you go warm here. Tosh Brown, a terrific freshman this year when it comes to the 110-meter hurdles. He has just been lighting it up, breaking his own record, the program record, so many times. He had a great last 2 hurdles in this one to win the gold. It was like, we're down to the wire here. And he had that last little spurt that you need to be a great sprinter, especially in the hurdles. First freshman to win this since 2013 CUSA.
Okay.
So good for Tosh Brown. Again, just a freshman, and you expect big things moving. I don't know how many studs they have loaded up in that track and field department, but they seem to have a ton, and he is one of them.
And he's the guy that you compared to a male model earlier this year.
That's right.
So,
Man, you have a great memory.
He's got that going for him as well. So
he's just in my mind.
Yeah, he's a winner in all kinds of ways, I guess. From warm, we go to hot.
Riley DeCandido, you talked about baseball, the hope to have a nice long run here. And they weren't necessarily on a rough patch ending the season, but it didn't feel like it was sinking in
Didn't
properly.
come easy the last week and a half or so.
And Middle Tennessee State was doing their absolute best to take Liberty out of the top 2 at least. And Liberty wanted to be in those spaces where they've been all season long in the conference standings. Riley DeCandido, last game, you need a win. You're kind of like, we're in troublesome waters again. 5 RBIs in that game. And he himself had kind of been in a little bit of a quiet patch offensively. Great to see his bat get going. Again, broke out of that mini slump, put the Flames in a good spot, and hopefully Riley can continue on here as things move forward.
He's kind of been, when they've been going well, the unsung hero in that lineup. So if he's swinging it well, good news for the Flames. All right, finally, in Fuego, who is it this week?
All right, we don't usually do this. It might be the first time all year. We're going to golf. Silas Carr, a freshman, CUSA Freshman of the Year.
Congrats.
Good to see golf back where they belong here.
Right.
8th player in program history to win Freshman of the Year. The top-ranked freshman golfer in CUSA. Again, great to see them win it, and things are going on now. They're just in the thick of it. So best of luck for them moving forward.
Absolutely. Rhett, appreciate it as always. Let's send it over to Emily.
Thanks, guys. We'll take it to the pitch next. Liberty hired new head men's soccer coach Scott Wells back in November, and ever since he's arrived on the mountain, his sole focus has been to create a championship culture. He's been successful in doing so at every stop before Liberty. Recently, we had a chance to catch up with Coach Wells and get to know him a little bit more. Take a look.
I think the biggest thing for me is that winning is so important. And I don't mean on the field. I mean every single day when we go to bed, and you can really look yourself in the eyes and know, if you've achieved the most you needed to achieve that day.
Good. Well played. Well played.
So what I always try to do with my players and my culture and my team is understand that every single day has a purpose. So I am from a place called Coventry, England, which is in the central part of England. I started soccer when I was 9 years old, and it's obviously a big part of everyone's life in England. It's like religion, really, to be honest. I was lucky enough to be exposed to quite a high level of coaching and quality of play. And that taught me so many different values and principles in what I take into my coaching now. And so we built this culture at all of my stops that These players were winning in everything they did, whether it was their classroom, whether it was their relationships, whether it was on the field. I want them to be able to win. God gave me the opportunity to be able to do this job, to help players, right? And help them develop as soccer players, help them develop into the real world. And I would say that it's really, really important to have a meaningful relationship with them, right? And sometimes that's confrontational. Sometimes that's not what they want to hear. Sometimes you can have arguments with them, you can have laughter with them, you have cry with them, but meaningful relationships.
And if you're tired and feel sick, this mentally you can push through it. Did you think you could get through the training session this morning? You weren't sure, right? That's why you asked Diego. Mentally, you're already thinking that you can't do it. Look at you now. I know, but you got to push through it, okay?
We're really excited about this chapter, and that's all we're focusing on right now. We're not looking at where we're going to be in December. We're looking at where we're going to be in May, and just trying to have these mini chapters that allow us to accomplish some goals.
Right, when I talked to you a couple of weeks ago about what the expectations were and what we were looking for and what I felt like you were given, right now it's meaning more. Every day training means more. All right, so well done. Seeing some really good improvement. Spencer, get us out of here. You clap. Hands up 3. 1, 2, 3. Right. Take care, boys.
Really excited to see what Coach Wells is going to do with this soccer program come fall. All right, well, if you've been watching the show long enough, you know we don't like to brag on ourselves that much.
But we do it anyway.
Okay, sure.
Absolutely. And with regional Emmy nominations coming out this past week, we have reason to celebrate as the show received an incredible 8 nominations.
That's right. We start with a category we've dominated, the religion category.
That's
the
right.
first nominee was for the story Playing for a Bigger Purpose, produced by Donald Scott. This piece focused on Liberty women's basketball player Bella Smuda and the impact she hoped to make on young girls. Producer Scott Ferguson earned a nomination for his piece, Softball Baptisms. This piece told the story of the Liberty softball team and the baptism that broke out at the 2025 CUSA tournament. Then Ken Toast earned a nomination for Pat Doney, an adoption story. This piece was about Liberty alum and Dallas sports anchor Pat Doney and the special needs son that he and his wife adopted and how it changed their lives. Our Helmut Montoya earned a nomination for his story, Life or Death, A Test of Faith. This story was about some Liberty baseball players on a mission to Guatemala where an earthquake gave them a trip they'll never forget.
Let me jump in here and help you out here, Emily. Emily, her first nomination, it comes from her story about Jamie Chadwell's wife, Solmaz, and her incredible journey from Iran to the United States. Her second nomination comes in the general sports category. That was for the story Christian Bodner, Fighting the Unknown. This was about a former Liberty football player and his recovery from a mysterious illness to get back on the field. And then one more for Helmut Montoya. His piece, Double Life of an EMT, about Liberty track and field thrower Bo Backus, was nominated in the editing category.
We're not over just yet. Let's brag on Matt as well. He was nominated for his work as a play-by-play broadcaster. You all know that whenever Matt's on call for a game, it's going to be a good one. Here's a look at the entire list. We will find out the winners at the 68th Annual Capitol Emmys on June 20th. Matt, just want to say thank you to Liberty University for providing the resources for us to share these stories and really the people who allow us to share those stories. So thank you to them as well.
Absolutely. And hey, if you want to go back and watch any of these nominated stories, you know where you can do that? LibertyFlameCentral.com. Go check it out.
And don't forget to check out the Flame Central podcast presented by Ortho Virginia. With Memorial Day this week, it'll be on Tuesday, so don't forget to check that out. For Matt and Emily, we'll see you right back here next week.